verbiage and your sentiments, it seems like the Rays did a pretty good job of the welcome back party for Longo.
They got an A, but if I want to give them an A plus, I think it would have been really cool if they had Longo lead. To take me out to the ball game. I think that would have been that extra punch in the face that we all would have taken right square in the jaw gladly.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
We're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
So grab your favorite Rays gear and settle in as we discuss Evan Longoria making his return to Tampa Bay and being honored and commemorated by the Rays in a very nice ceremony on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Rays take 2 of 3 from the Marlins in unique and interesting fashion. And now the Rays, with a record of 35-30, are shipping up to Boston, hoping to do work against them. A lot to discuss on today's program.
But before we get to all that, we've got to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Yes, Kevin. Longo's return, that was pretty cool to be a witness of. That was awesome.
Yeah, I bet. I am not in Tampa Bay. I am out of town. I am in the Pennsylvania area scouting the Pittsburgh Pirates and scouting the Philadelphia Phillies for reasons unknown. But Ulises, you were there in the flesh on Saturday for the Longoria event and celebration. And then how long did that game end up going? The 11-10 monstrosity that was. I mean, you went there and you got a lot of offense. You got what we're all calling for, except the Rays didn't win that game, of course. But it had to be a pretty surreal moment for Longoria to be back out there throughout the first pitch. I'm sure there was a video serenade and some awesome words and statements provided as well.
It was great. First, let me just get you guys in the feel of what Saturday was. It was a sold-out event. You usually see Longoria jerseys. Let's be honest. Let's be quite honest as a Rays fandom. Top 5 jersey that you will see at every game is a Longoria jersey, 100%.
Hopefully, he gets some residuals from that.
Yeah, right. He should, or maybe they're just really old jerseys that people keep too. Regardless, this time around, it was the number 1 jersey. It was Longoria everywhere. Of course, there was a giveaway, a free Longo shirt, like light blue with him on the front. Unfortunately, one size XL, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. And the atmosphere was just this palpable. Oh my gosh, he's here! And I'll tell you, at every half inning, they would show little excerpts, little video clips of Longo and all that.
Very cool.
But right before he threw the first pitch, there was a longer video. There was, of course, the introduction with Down and Out, Tantrix song that he had for basically his whole career. And that's what got him to get on the mound and give the first pitch to Kevin Cash. It was great. I mean, I got emotional, man. I really did. And that's when I have to say that's when the new age folks lose the plot. We don't watch this game to have a better ex-Woba. We really don't. People don't fall in love with expected batting averages. They don't. It's how you make them feel. That's what people are watching and paying harder money for. So when I got emotional, I was like, it wouldn't have been nice if he had returned in 2024. I think Danny Russell tweeted this out. In 2024, we gave 100+ plate appearances to Harold Ramirez.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that have gone to Evan Longoria? Like, if it was a lost season anyway,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you know you're not going anywhere, especially as maybe at the beginning of 2024, you thought you had a chance to do something, but within a couple months, the rails were coming off, the chemistry was terrible, and there were myriad other issues as well. Why not kick the tires for celebration purposes and get more butts in the seats? I mean, hey, it's Longo's swan song, and I don't care if he has a worse batting average than Alex Jackson. He'd probably do better than Alex Jackson, even at his age of whatever he is and his 17th season or whatever it would have been at that point. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that would have been a very, very awesome moment if the Rays would have done that. And I don't know, I'm sure they had their reasons for why they didn't do that. But at the very least, hopefully they made up for it to some extent on Saturday. So based on your verbiage and your sentiments, it seems like the Rays did a pretty good job of the welcome back party for Longo. You give them an A, give them a B. How would you grade the Rays team on, hey, this is how we're honoring and recognizing the best player in franchise history?
I think it was great. I think one thing, if I mean, they got an A, but if I want to give them an A+, I think it would have been really cool. Maybe during the take me out to the ball game, if they had Longo lead, take me out to the ball game in the 7th inning, just kind of like the Wrigley Field does it with like a celebrity or somebody on the booth. I think that would have been that extra punch in the face that we all would have taken right square in the jaw gladly. Yeah. That would have been really, really cool. But other than that, I think it was fantastic. Look, even I was watching this too. I was looking at the current team. They were all glued to the video screen.
Oh, yeah.
They are all clapping. They understand that this might be a new franchise, but one of the newest franchises. But it also means that it's been here for 27, 28 years. Mm-hmm. So that starts to take some heftiness to it. And the way that we all responded to Longo, I bet a lot of them, and I could count about 3, Yandy, Brandon, and Junior, were all looking at the environment and saying, man, wouldn't it be nice if that were to happen to me 10 years from now?
And it would be cool if, and I don't know the particulars on this, but if Longo did kind of a pregame chat or a postgame chat with the members on the current Rays roster. Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately that's where this could end up going, is he is a team ambassador, has some involvement with the franchise to lend that guidance and credence, especially to the younger players. I mean, what he did on and off the field, he's a representation of what a professional baseball player, what a professional athlete should be. And for those that need some recollection, Longo played 10 of his 16 major league seasons with Tampa Bay. He is the franchise's all-time leader in WAR, 51.7 games, 1435 home runs, 261 RBIs, 892 runs, 780 extra base hits, 618, and walks, 569. And then a statement from Stu Sternberg. The things that he did on and especially off the field and in the clubhouse were, again, they were transformative. Any and all successes we have to this day are somehow tied back to Evan joining us. So kind words from the Rays principal owner, Stu Sternberg there. So I will only imagine that next year when the Rays are back in the Trop, hopefully, fingers crossed, that number 3 will be hung up and officially retired, because to my knowledge, no player has worn the number 3 since Evan Longoria. So I don't see that changing anytime soon, and that should probably be etched in a memo somewhere of nobody's going to be wearing that.
Yeah. No, and I think it's very cool. Once he leaves, no one touches that number. I mean, it's another way that we can count the impact of what Evan Longoria means to the franchise.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I think if you try to get a jersey with your name on the back of it, I don't think you're allowed to have number 3. You could or 42 because of Jackie Robinson.
Right,
So
42
test it out.
definitely,
Yeah.
but 3 it's also not allowed. Wow, that's really cool.
I want somebody to do a test. Run a scientific report on, hey, go to the team shop, get your
I do
last
have something
name.
though.
Yeah.
I do have something because I brought my City Connect jersey, and that was my birthday present. My sister was going to basically give me a whole day experience there, and she was like, "Let's stitch your jersey," and I was like, "Oh, perfect." You know what? I was thinking about go Caballero 13. I was like, no. Let's go Longoria 3. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. Longoria is a boss. Let's do it. And they tell me at the store, did you buy this today? I was like, no, I bought it another day. And they're like, well, you can't, we can't stitch it for you. We only stitch jerseys that were bought on the same day.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
A little loophole there. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So take notes if you plan to do something like that when you go to the game. All right. We have much more to discuss on today's program, but first we have to tell the audience something very important. That is next on the Locked On Rays podcast, your team every day. All right. It's that time. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Go ahead, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios, it is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. What are you waiting for? Go ahead, get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. What's really cool about this too is no shells. So it makes that grab and go so much easier. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios, it is the snack that works as hard as you do. So go ahead, visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. So good. I'll repeat it again. wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, Ulises, as we mentioned, the Rays take 2 of 3 from the Marlins on Friday. The Rays won 4-3. Saturday, the game you were at, the Rays lost 11-10 in extras. Then on Sunday, the Rays come back and notch a 3-2 victory. The Rays are 35-30 on the year, looking closer and closer like a playoff team, but there is a lot of season remaining. Ulises, what stood out for you from the weekend that was? Maybe it was something from Saturday's game. It was a little bit bizarro because Chris Morel actually did something offensively, hitting 2 dingers, and then Taylor Walls, believe it or not, hit a dinger of himself in that game. And somehow the Rays lose that game despite being up 4-0 early on. I would have thought that, that would ultimately shut the door on the ball game, but the Rays lost that one. I hate to start on a negative here, but just want to note, because that was probably the craziest action of the weekend. Moreover, it's like the former Rays farmhands that beat up on the Rays in a Marlins uniform between Heriberto Hernandez, Jesus Sanchez, Xavier Edwards. Those guys were all over the place on Saturday and over the course of the weekend.
So many things to break down there. So you get Longo in the building. Caballero did a few really good plays at third base.
Yeah.
You get Longo in the building. You get Taylor Walls to hit a home run. You get Longoria in the building. You get Christopher Morel to hit 2 home runs. You get the Rays to score 10 runs. You get a 4-0 lead pretty early in the game. You get Tosh Bradley with a scoreless first inning. Everything is set for you to just have a good time on Saturday and get a W. They unfortunately were not able to do that. I will say, though, and this is just like a little 45-second aside, boy, it's hot. It's real hot. It's real hot. It's real muggy. It's a thing. If you go to the game, it's a thing. It's enjoyable. The product that you're watching, the atmosphere is fantastic. but stay hydrated. It is rough out there, man. And I was not even in the sun. I was in the shade the whole time. And it's something. It makes you miss the 72 degrees at the Trop. That's for sure, man.
100%. And what's funny is like the Marlins are wearing all black uniforms.
Oh, I don't know how they did that. Gross. Yeah. I don't know how they were even able to survive, but it was fun. Kind of maybe just another adjective. It was interesting to see how Bendix took all the misfit toys that Neander did not have any success with, the failed experiments, and said, "Now this is how we're going to build our team." And Xavier Edwards, you have Jesus Sanchez, Edgardo Hernandez, like, you know, they did things. I think being 5 games over 500, switching it to the positive side here, 35-30. This is when you need to now take that ramp and elongate that 500 stretch so that you're no longer in the threat of they could also you can always have a 5-game losing streak. So right now, if they're able to still keep that increasing that 500 line, oh man, now we're actually talking. This is a team that can go to the playoffs and do something, because we've gone to the playoffs and done nothing. But can they do something? We still need to confirm that, Kev.
Well, I'll tell you what, before Saturday's game, because I know that I don't remember Todd Bradley's final line, but before Saturday, Rays starting pitchers were 10-2 with a 1.81 ERA over their prior 16 games. So if you have starting pitching delivering like that, game in, game out, week in, week out, series in, series out, you're going to squeeze your way into a lot of W's, and you don't have to have a lot of offense to win those types of games. But yeah, it's good right now where the Rays stand. And I think that going up to Boston, that'll be a little bit of a watershed moment. I know that, and we might talk about this a little bit later in the third segment, but you have an opportunity to win a series. Well, you should have an opportunity to win just about every series, but I would think of it like this. You know, the Red Sox, they are 32-35 right now. They're coming off what always is an emotional heightened battle against the Yankees. So maybe they're a little bit more tired and exhausted and beat than they normally would be. Moreover, and I know that some of these guys have been injured from some time, you're not facing, nor are the Red Sox facing a 100% healthy Rays team. But what helps is the fact that Alex Bregman is injured, Yoshida is injured, Casas is injured. And even still, the Red Sox have a really good offense, but those are 3 key pieces that they are without, that hopefully the starting pitching and the relief core of the Rays can take care of things from there. But yeah, just going back into the series from general. So Saturday we saw, the offensive output. It ultimately didn't lead to a win, which, going back to that game, and you were there in the flesh, but it underscores baseball being a game of inches, because defensively, if Mangum was able to catch that ball, if Morel was able to catch that ball just off the glove, that led to extra base hits and RBIs, it totally could have been transformative for the Rays winning the game. And I'm not blaming those guys. I mean, those are tough plays to make, but an extra inch or two on the leather, and we might be talking about a 10-7 or 10-6 win instead of an 11-10 loss.
Because it just kept going. It was like this avalanche. It just like, another pebble and another pebble. It just kept getting momentum. I think there was also a grounder through second. I believe that Bila was maybe a foot or half a foot away from it, and he dove. So there were multiple instances where you're like, if they had just gone to the bleeping ball, but they were just out of reach, and that happened. It is funny though. You have a scoreless first from Tosh, who has been struggling with the first inning. So you score 10 runs against the Marlins. You're expecting a bleeping W, and you can't. That's why we watch baseball. That's why we love this, massacre of a game. I
would imagine that, what are the percentages of a team winning a game if they scored 10 runs?
Oh my gosh.
97%, 98%.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be.
And then meanwhile, in Friday and Saturday, the Rays were just able to itch and scratch a claw enough runs to win the game. I mean, on Friday's game, the 4-3 win, you have the Marlins who hit multiple home runs, and then the Rays are winning by like grounder RBIs, which
Yep.
again, testament to just putting the ball in play and having a runner at third, with the Ronda and what Mangum was able to do. And then same thing on Sunday. I mean, we had the Yandy 2-run opposite field homer, but also in the later end of the action, Brandon Lau hits a relatively short sac fly, but that was all capitalized upon because Jose Caballero stole third and he had the speed to get into home based on B. Lau's sac fly. So just doing whatever you can to win a close, low-scoring one-run game. So it's showing that, they can battle and finish at the end if needed. So,
and don't look now, but Caballero has 21 stolen bases, which leads the American League, or at least tied for first, and is one away from the lead from MLB, from Ellie De La Cruz, who has 22.
Well, that's maybe why the Rays were more okay with shipping down Chandler Simpson to AAA, because, hey, it's great to have him up, but we can still nab our bases with Cabby and some other guys on the roster as well.
Good call, because I think fifth down the list or sixth down the list in all MLB is Chandler Simpson with 19. Yeah. So that's how good Chandler Simpson was in that department in his short stint.
All right, we have more to discuss on this episode, but first we have to tell the audience something important that is next on the Locked On Rays podcast. Your team every day.
Well, people, have you ever decided at the last minute to head to Steinbrenner Field with friends and family? I know Kevin and I have, and it feels rather good because you know what? With Game Time, with the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. And Game Time does that. They make buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and the lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying tickets. In fact, maybe you want to go see the Rays play Baltimore next week when they come home, or the Detroit Tigers, by the way, who have been on fire. That would be a really good series to go, and it's on the weekend. So why don't you do that by taking the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time? Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, do this. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB. You get $20 off your first purchase after you download the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
All right, Ulysses, wrapping things up here. We mentioned the Red Sox just a little bit. Just want to note some overarching numbers here. They're 6th in MLB in OPS, 23rd in team ERA, and 10th in defensive runs saved. But for the Rays, I think what's notable about this series and maybe forthcoming series is the fact that Ian Seymour has been called up to help relieve the Rays bullpen, who have covered 14 innings over the previous 4 games. Ulysses on the screen there was doing the old golf clap because he has been waiting for this moment for like 4 years, or since the Rays drafted him in the second round out of Virginia Tech, whichever year that was. I can't remember if it was 2020, 2021, 2022. It seems like it's been some time now, but Ian Seymour, a guy who really has nothing left to prove. What he's done this season, what he's done last season, and I would not be surprised if they find a way or maneuver to keep him up long term. Now, what that role is going to be, I don't know yet. Maybe he can, find his way as a future starter, i.e. Drew Rasmussen, or maybe the Rays have ideations on him being a bulk guy or swingman or just a straight up reliever. But I think, to me, he seems like a guy who is destined for success in the big leagues. And I know he doesn't have, the greatest, most high velocity fastball of all time, but he gets away with it because he has amazing control in a plus changeup, plus like 3 other pitches that he can mix in between the cutter, the slider, and the curveball. So at every level, he's put up amazing numbers between the ERA, the strikeout rate, the walk rate, and I think what's really unique is just his deceptive delivery as well. The old-timey high leg kick where he has a lot of gyration, if you will, and he almost brings around his throwing arm sideways and delivers it to home plate. And I think that could befuddle a lot of hitters, whether he has a 93-mile-an-hour fastball or a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. I think that we shouldn't be so hung up on his the velo on his fastball there.
I'm sure some people will, but honestly, I think the results are there. So, and you said it. He has nothing else to prove in AA, AAA, like the minors. Like it's done. It's now. Is it enough to fool major league hitters? Like that's now what you got to know. When they first set the announcement, you're thinking, okay, maybe there's some moves here that they're trying to make. And if you start to speculate, oh, well, let's say the Rays are thinking of moving a starter or two just for the trade deadline, right? To get some pieces, interesting pieces that could help them in 2026 or 2027. And you're thinking, well, Zach Littell looks like a really good trade candidate right there. You can do Joe Boyle or you could do Seymour. But then you start to think, we already went through this in 2021.
Yeah.
Do not have rookies be the only thing that you're throwing out in the fire. Like the playoffs are a different thing than a game.
That does not bode well for the playoffs. I don't care how good. I don't care if you're Paul Skeens, you're going to run into issues.
Don't exactly. Even I would think even Paul Skeens would have a little bit of an issue there because it's just different, man. They've never done that before. So no, honestly, I maybe this is a little bit sidetracking, but the Seymour conversation got me thinking. I think the Zach Littell trade discussion needed to happen in the beginning because we didn't know what this team was. But if this team starts winning like they are and keep winning like they are and entrench themselves seriously in the wild card discussion, I know that they're second in right now, but everybody's bunched up together. Everything can happen. The Zach Littell trade discussion might need to stop because I don't want to put all that pressure on young players.
Yeah, let's table that for now and see how the Rays look closer to the All-Star break and maybe recircle that idea. But I'm with you 100% on that. I mean, that's part of the issue along with payroll is why the Rays aren't winning the World Series is because you have so many young players and so many new players and you're changing up the roster significantly every year. You don't have that continuity and guys just aren't used to the big lights in the postseason that is. So exactly. I think that's part of the problem that we're dealing with. Now, Ian Seymour, just real quickly before we end here, his entire minor league career, he's thrown 320 and a third innings, has a 2.58 ERA, 402 strikeouts, and a 102 whip. So, like we said, he has done everything he's needed to do at every level. Now is the official moment in time of can he handle big league hitters in a big league environment? And that's going to be something I think the Rays are going to try to determine and figure out. Hey, can he be a starter at this level, or is he more like a 1 inning, 2 inning, 3 inning guy? But whatever the case may be, I am willing to bank that he will be a successful major leaguer.
And he's a lefty. And with the deception, I don't mind bringing him up and sending down Cole Sulser. I would rather have Seymour up than Sulser right now.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You can get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on the YouTubes or wherever you listen to those podcasts.